Lebanon's Prime Minister, Saad Hariri, returned to his home country late on Tuesday, on the eve of its Independence Day and after a nearly three-week absence dominated by his surprise resignation. Hariri stepped down from his post in a televised address on November 4 from Saudi Arabia and then remained in Riyadh, where he spent 2 weeks before making brief trips to Abu Dhabi, Paris and Cairo. His plane touched down at Beirut International Airport shortly before midnight, a statement from his office said. His resignation shocked Lebanese, but Hariri's prolonged stay in Saudi Arabia proved even more mysterious for many and sparked a litany of accusations that he was being held hostage there. The Lebanese Prime Minister, Saad Hariri, disembarks at Rafik Hariri Airport in Beirut. Photograph Bilal Hussein Hariri had promised he would return to Lebanon in time to mark its 74th Independence Day on Wednesday and would clarify his position. On Tuesday he traveled to Cairo to see the Egyptian President, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, whom he thanked for his support for Lebanon. Hours later Hariri flew from Cairo to Larnaca in Cyprus where he met late at night with President Nikos Anastasiades, said a Cyprus government spokesman. After a brief visit he flew on to Beirut where he is expected to take part in the Independence Day military parade early on Wednesday and the customary reception at the presidential palace. Hariri's future movement called on supporters to gather at his home in downtown Beirut at 1 p.m. local time. A dual Saudi citizen who has previously enjoyed Riyadh's backing, Hariri resigned in a mysterious broadcast from the Saudi capital, accusing arch-rival Iran and its powerful Lebanese ally Hezbollah of destabilizing his country. But President Michel Aoun has yet to accept Hariri's resignation, insisting he presented in person once back in the Lebanese capital. During Hariri's 2-week stay in Riyadh, Aoun accused Saudi authorities of holding him hostage and demanded that he enjoy freedom of movement. After mediation efforts by Egypt and France, which held former mandate power over Lebanon, the 47-year-old premier left Riyadh on Saturday. He headed to Paris for talks with the French President, Emmanuel Macron, and pledged he would be home by Wednesday. "As you know, I have resigned and we will discuss that in Lebanon," he said. Hariri's resignation from outside the country is unprecedented in Lebanese history. Questions remain over whether the resignation will stand, forcing negotiations on a new government, or if he might withdraw it. Under Lebanon's constitution, the president is bound to accept a premier's resignation however it is tendered, according to the Lebanese constitutional expert, Edmund Risk. Although it is not outlined in the constitution, Risk said, custom dictates this resignation is supposed to be submitted to the President of the Republic. A resignation brings down the government, and the president then engages in consultations to select a new prime minister to form a cabinet. In Lebanon, divided for more than a decade between a pro-Saudi camp and a Tehran-backed alliance, that process typically takes months of political wrangling. But the discussions also aim to strike a balance between the country's diverse religious communities. As part of Lebanon's presidential parliamentary system, the premier must be a Sunni Muslim, the president a Maronite Christian and the Speaker of Parliament a Shia Muslim. More than a week ago Hariri said he could walk back from his resignation if Hezbollah withdrew from regional conflicts, including Syria. Hezbollah, whose forces are fighting in neighboring Syria along government troops, has said it still considers Hariri the current premier. "When he comes we'll see. We're open to all dialogue and discussion," its chief, Hassan Nasrallah, said on Monday. But if Hariri stands firm, Aoun has two options: either rename him premier or choose another prominent Sunni figure to lead a new cabinet. If Hariri's consultations lead to a new government, that would be a way out, said Risk. Aoun tipped Hariri as premier in 2016 as part of a deal across political lines that ended a 2.5-year stalemate in Lebanon. Hariri's 2 terms as prime minister have both ended abruptly. In January 2011, as he was meeting with Venus President Barack Obama in Washington, Hezbollah and its allies withdrew their ministers and collapsed Hariri's government. His unexpected resignation earlier this month was seen as part of an escalating power struggle between Sunni Saudi Arabia and Shia Iran, which back opposing sides in the conflicts in Syria and Yemen. On the day Hariri resigned, the Saudi kingdom said it intercepted a ballistic missile fired by Tehran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen at Riyadh. The announcement also coincided with a purge of more than 200 Saudi princes, ministers and businessmen. This article was corrected on the 23rd of November 2017. It previously stated that the celebrations were to mark Lebanon's 47th Independence Day. The celebrations in fact marked its 74th Independence Day.